All right, my good people, what's going on today? And today we're going to be talking about the beef between Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali. Beef? What beef? I didn't know they was beefing. So, what a lot of y'all probably don't know is there is no pictures of Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali in the mosque together. If you can find one, send it. Let me know. Post the link below so I can see. But I have never seen one picture of Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali in the mosque together. You know why? Because when Malcolm was on his way out, Muhammad was on his way in. So now what I have seen is pictures of Muhammad Ali with Elijah Muhammad. I've seen pictures of Muhammad Ali with Louis X, who's now Louis Farrakhan, in the mosque on stage. I've seen pictures of Muhammad Ali addressing the crowd, and it looked like it might have been on Savior's Day, which is when that group drew its biggest audience. So now I'm not gonna go as far as to say Muhammad Ali wanted Malcolm's spot. I ain't gonna say that. And I'm not gonna go as far as to say that Malcolm X was trying to use Muhammad Ali to get back into the nation, because several things had happened. I think the biggest thing that happened that caused Malcolm to be kicked out of the nation was when John Kennedy died. So when John Kennedy died, Malcolm made the comment. First of all, Malcolm had already was supposed to have been silenced for something else. I think the police ran up in a mosque, in a Nation of Islam mosque up in California, and like 4 people got killed, and the nation didn't want to do nothing about it. The police ran up in there, they ran up in the mosque and killed 4 people, and Malcolm like, yo, what we gonna do about this? And Elijah Muhammad like, oh, we're gonna turn the other cheek. He was taking the Martin Luther King approach, and Malcolm like, what? We talk all this crap, and the police done ran up in the mosque, and now y'all don't want to do nothing. So Malcolm wasn't with that. So he was already, on thin ice with Elijah Muhammad. Then he made the comment about the chickens coming home to roost. So then he was silenced for was it 30 or 90 days? 30, I think it was, I don't know. I'm not sure. Y'all drop a comment below of how long Malcolm was silenced by Elijah Muhammad. But we all know that the silence was never lifted. The silence was never lifted. So at the same time when Muhammad Ali won the world title from what's his name? I forgot. But they had a rematch and Muhammad beat him again in the first round. But anyway, what we got to think about is Muhammad Ali needed Malcolm X just as much as Malcolm needed Muhammad. So the reason why I say this is because we have to remember back in the day, and even today probably, but back in the day, the world title was basically held by, well, I'll put it like this. Whoever had that title, the mafia, the mob, the Cosa Nostra was controlling them. They was telling them when to win, when to lose, when to throw a fight, what round to win or lose the fight in. The mafia was controlling boxing at that time. So, Sonny Liston. So the mafia had Sonny Liston on lock. They told him what to do, when to breathe, when to eat, when to go to the hotel room, when to leave the room, when to go to the casino, when to win the fight, when to lose the fight, what round and what not. So after Muhammad Ali beat Sonny Liston for the title, of course, the mafia was about to come for Muhammad Ali. Believe that. The mafia was about to come for Muhammad Ali. So because Malcolm was already familiar with the mafia. Malcolm already knew about the mob from New York. So Malcolm coming at Muhammad Ali like, bro, all you gotta do is come get with us over at the Nation. We got you, bro. We ain't gonna let these fake mafia dudes do nothing to you. We got your back. You come join the Nation, we got you. You ain't got to worry about the mafia. And at the same time, in turn, by Malcolm bringing the world heavyweight champion to the Nation of Islam, he thought that was going to get him back in Elijah Muhammad's favor. So a lot of people don't know, and I recently just learned this too, was Malcolm X had already given Cassius Clay a name. His name was supposed to be Cassius X. But what Elijah Muhammad did was he said, okay, you trying to name him. You don't name him. It's my job to name him. Matter of fact, I'm about to get, since you want to pull that crap, Malcolm, I'm about to give him the most honorable, the most dignified, the most holy name that we have, which is the two biggest names, Muhammad Ali. So when he hit him with that name, Muhammad was just like, oh God, he done gave me the greatest name ever. I don't even need Brother Malcolm. I'm in here with the man. I'm about to be the man sitting next to the man. So basically, the nation took Muhammad Ali, and Muhammad Ali joined the nation without the stipulation of Malcolm being allowed back in. So Muhammad Ali knows that he could have easily said, I'm not joining unless you allow Malcolm to come back in. So it was a big beef between the Nation of Islam and Malcolm X after he left. So Malcolm X's house was bombed. They even tried to put a bomb in his car. They tried to bomb Malcolm's car. It was supposed to be brothers from the Boston and from the New Jersey mosques that were after Malcolm. And that's one of the things that always bothered me about Malcolm. I always wondered, not that he had to be scared, but just thinking with common sense and living within in reality, why didn't he leave New York? I know that that was his home base, because he was the minister of Mosque number 7 in Harlem. But why didn't he take his family and get out of New York? Why? Why, Malcolm? You know, another thing that's just thinking about traveling or whatever. I don't think it was a coincidence that Muhammad Ali bumped into Malcolm X in Ghana at their hotel. You know, like that scene from the movie Ali when Muhammad Ali told Malcolm X you shouldn't have quarreled with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Actually, instead of quarreled, he said you shouldn't have crossed the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because I read a statement from Muhammad Ali that said the reason why he came at the reason why he came at Malcolm X like that was because when he saw Malcolm, he felt Malcolm was disrespecting Elijah Muhammad because Malcolm had grown a goatee. So then, and maybe even now, the Fruit of Islam and anybody in the NOI, they couldn't have hair on their face. That's why when you see Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, they always have a bare face because they couldn't have hair on their face. I think maybe they could have a mustache, a little thin mustache. So when Muhammad Ali saw Malcolm X with this big, thick goatee, that's against the rules of the Nation of Islam. So he looked at that as disrespect. When Muhammad Ali saw Malcolm in Ghana, he said that he saw him in traditional Muslim garb, not the NOI uniform. So he looked at that as disrespect. So when Malcolm saw Muhammad at the hotel, and he like, Brother Muhammad, Ali turned around like, what you calling me for? You disrespecting the minister. Look at you. I can't be seen talking to you. And that day, Muhammad Ali was with Elijah Muhammad's son. So that was the last time that they even spoke. But, you know, just looking, and then I saw a quote from Muhammad Ali in 2004 that said that one of his biggest regrets was turning his back on Malcolm X. You know, because Muhammad Ali actually left the Nation of Islam himself in 1975. So just a few years later, he wound up leaving himself because things weren't working out. They was trying to take too much of his money. They were trying to control who. Actually, they wanted Muhammad Ali to stop boxing. That's another reason why Muhammad Ali left the nation, which was fake because he looking at it like, I was a boxer when I came in. I done tripled your membership, and now all of a sudden you want me to quit boxing? I'm not about to quit boxing. I'll just leave. So with him thinking like that, he like, I could have just stayed with Malcolm. I could have left. I could have never even joined, and he could have helped Malcolm create the Muslim Mosque Incorporated or the OAAU. which is two groups that Malcolm formed when he left. But one thing I wish, that I know that when Malcolm spoke at the Audubon Ballroom when he was killed, 1965, February 21st, he said that he didn't want anybody being frisked or patted down at the door. He didn't want anybody patted down at the door because that's not the image that he wanted to portray. So that's how they was able to slip them guns in there. And then on top of that, another thing that I always questioned was when if he beefing with the Nation of Islam, when he saw 4 or 5 of the Nation of Islam guys there, why didn't that cause awareness? They're not at your meeting to say hi. They're not there to see you speak. They up to something. So I don't know if they see him there, what can they do about it? I mean, I guess they can ask them to leave. I don't know. But, that's just something that always bothered me. Another thing about that moment is after Malcolm X was killed, that image that's on the front page of the newspaper, I think it was the New York Post, when it says big and bold, Malcolm X killed or Malcolm X murdered. And it shows the police wheeling Malcolm out on a stretcher, and they had his head uncovered. And, of course, that's disrespectful. So to have a deceased person head exposed while you wheeling them to an ambulance or wherever you're wheeling them to is totally disrespectful. So I took that. So how my mind works and how I computed that was their way of saying, the police, that was their way of saying, we got him. We got him. We got him. So I don't know. One of the dudes that was caught, I don't even think he had a Muslim name. I think his name was like Thomas Hayer or something like that. So we don't know if these guys were hired by the police to pretend like they was in the NOI. I don't know, man. It's just I don't know. Like, you can go back and forth with it. You could think, did the police kill Malcolm? Or did the nation kill Malcolm? Because about 10 years ago, Louis Farrakhan did a speech. I believe it was in Chicago. And he was saying, you can't tell a nation how to deal with a traitor. Malcolm was a traitor. And we dealt with him like we supposed to deal with a traitor. So I'm like, whoa. And I saw a clip where I believe it was Larry King. He actually played that clip for Betty Shabazz. And Betty Shabazz said back like, wow. One other thing that I saw that I want to speak about, maybe the last thing, was a clip I saw of Malcolm X's oldest daughter speaking at Muhammad Ali's funeral. And, she was up there crying. And, of course, she's aware of her father, Malcolm X, and Muhammad Ali's relationship and how they were really friends. And Muhammad Ali turned his back on Malcolm, when he joined the nation and left Malcolm out there hanging. Because Malcolm knew that as long as he was cool with Muhammad Ali, he was going to remain alive. Malcolm knew as long as he was kicking it, hanging it, and in favor of, he had Muhammad Ali's favor, nobody was going to touch him from the nation. Because the nation needed and wanted Muhammad Ali. But once Muhammad Ali stopped messing with him, like I saw clips of Muhammad Ali saying Malcolm turned his back on the messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's what Muhammad Ali said. So he bought into that. He had done flipped on Malcolm. Muhammad Ali was not rocking with Malcolm no more while Malcolm was still alive, before he died. I also saw a newspaper clipping from Muhammad Speaks of a cartoonist drew a clip of Malcolm X's head cut off and like bouncing down the street. And it had like 4 or 5 of Malcolm's heads bouncing down the street. And every time it hit the ground, it had a word written on the ground like bang, boom, pow, like gunshot type words. And this is in Muhammad Speaks, Nation of Islam newspaper. So they wanted Malcolm killed. They wanted Malcolm killed because Malcolm. So this is what I gathered from the situation. They said that, and let's stop. I know this is years later, but let's stop saying Malcolm found out Elijah Muhammad had kids by secretaries. Everybody knew that. You think Malcolm was the only one that knew Elijah Muhammad had children by teenage secretaries? Everybody knew that. Let's be honest. So they said that Malcolm flew to Arizona to go meet with, because Elijah Muhammad had to move out to Arizona because the air was dry and it helped with his health or something like that. So Malcolm go out there to Arizona. They come up with this plan that they're gonna say that this is a divine happening, and it was predestined and pre-written in the Quran and the Bible that Elijah Muhammad was supposed to do this. So Malcolm like, all right, I got you. Malcolm go back to New York and Chicago telling them what him and Elijah Muhammad just came up with. The ministers that were hating on Malcolm then flip it and say, you spreading untruths about Elijah Muhammad. So they just used that, which what they already knew, but they just used that to further try to push Malcolm out, because these people wanted Malcolm's spot. They felt like once Elijah Muhammad passed, the Nation of Islam was going to be passed on to Malcolm X, which it was. But you got people like Lewis X, and then you had people like what's his name? Elijah Muhammad's son, who actually converted the nation to Sunni Islam after Elijah Muhammad died. So you got these people that's next up in line, and they didn't want Malcolm, but actually Elijah Muhammad's son did wind up siding with Malcolm, because he's the one that went out there to Arizona to speak with Elijah Muhammad to see how they was going to handle this, because word was spreading that, bro, everybody's starting to find out about your babies you got on the side with all these secretaries while you're a married man. So that's another reason. So like once Malcolm tried to stay in the nation, they just kept pushing him out. They just kept pushing him out. And then finally he just broke away from the nation. Like he didn't even have a choice. Like the Nation of Islam was trying to evict Malcolm and his family from their home. That's how low down. Malcolm had a house in Queens, New York, and the Nation of Islam were trying to evict them from their home because they had the deed to the house, even though Malcolm brought them thousands of followers. What would the nation be without Malcolm X? So I think a lot of the things that we have confused as of late is the message of the Nation of Islam. All that fight back, stand up for yourself, don't let them pick on you, that was Malcolm's words. That was not the Nation of Islam talk. They didn't like when Malcolm talked like that. Malcolm was the soldier. Malcolm was the warrior. And you got to think, this is the nail in the coffin right here to show you that their ideologies did not match up. So from my understanding, I believe that Malcolm X's number one speech, or his most well-known speech, is the ballot or the bullet, right? Which is one of his last speeches that he wrote right before he passed, after he left the nation. Ballot or the bullet was written after he left the nation. Think about this, y'all. Have you ever heard of the Nation of Islam encouraging black people to vote? I'll ask again. Have you ever heard of the Nation of Islam encouraging black people to vote? Have you ever heard of the Nation of Islam moving and in a form of action against white supremacy and against white power? Have you ever heard of the Nation of Islam doing anything? The only thing I could think of is in New York when the police beat one of the brothers, and Malcolm took some guys down there to see about that. So actually that happened in New York and in California. Now I've heard of the Million Man March in the 90s, and then they did one about 5 years ago, but I've seen the nation do security. I seen the nation do security for funerals like Nipsey Hussle funerals and things like that. But I have never heard of the nation taking action. What actions have they took? They're not the Black Panthers. They're not Malcolm. I don't see nothing that they've done. But anyway, I'm about to get on out of here, man. Y'all hold it down. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because there's more of these videos coming. I'm going to touch on a wide range of topics. And I'm here. I'm loving this. I'm feeling this. Y'all stay tuned, man, because there's a lot more to come, man. I'm out. Y'all hold it down. I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to see y'all next time, man. I'm out.